Sorry about that, guys. Huh. No idea why it did that. I don't usually have that problem. Thank you, and welcome back to all of you. I'll have to look into whether there's a way to set up an alert if it goes down. There's gotta be, right? Anyone who knows more about Twitch than me? Hello, Artemisa. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the chill art party. This will end up being a two-part thing. I'm hoping I can finish it up tomorrow. I know I don't have time to put 3 or 4 hours into it today. I have to do some work and get some real life stuff taken care of. But I said I would stream today, so I am doing it. Yeah. I mean, you can rush them if you want to fuck them up, I guess, but... but also, I just wanted to do something that was more involved, you know? Yeah, I probably could have set something up that I could do in a day, but this is what I felt like drawing, and that's what I'm doing. You know, I spend all day, every day at work drawing whatever they need me to draw. That with all this stuff, Instagram and Twitch, and I'm mostly just interested in drawing what I actually feel like drawing. A little break from designing movie posters. Maury. She's sitting on a mech, on like the shoulder of her giant mech, painting her nails. Because, you know, downtime. What else are you gonna do? Her little nail polish bottle. More hearts. It'll be fun. We'll throw a couple little accent colors in there whenever we get that far in the image. I hope so. As long as I don't, totally mess it up along the way. It's rare that I get really involved in an ink drawing, but I've been wanting to for a while. And so I'm also trying to figure out what I want to do for the finale of Inktober. finding little ways to like reinforce the perspective a bit. Even though there are a couple little things where I think the perspective is a little off, but what are you gonna do? As long as it's not jumping out at anyone, I'm okay with that. Most of the time at work, I just have to like get stuff done that my MO is simply, if it doesn't look wrong, it's right. Or at least it's right enough. Obviously, if I wanted to be super precise with this, I'd break out my ellipse guide, but I don't know. Something I like about the hand-done thing. I would either break out the ellipse guide or take the time to pencil in very precise ellipse. But because some of this might also end up being black, like blacked out, I'm not gonna worry about all of it too much. Honestly, I don't think I use guides and rulers enough to know if it has an effect. I actually am not even sure where the hell my ellipse guide is. I got one thinking like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna use the shit out of this. And I don't think I've used it once. Yeah, most of the time, like, I do just fine on my ellipses. This one got a little wonky, but, you know, I think if you want that, like, perfect mechanical look, then cool, use them. I don't tend to draw that way. But, you know, I could see, like, if I was doing, like, a legit illustration, say, like, for something, for a client or whatever, then I would probably be a bit more precise. But I think for what I do, I don't know, I like a little more organic feeling. To my work, so but yeah, I think it might. Although I mean, I gotta say, like Sean Gordon Murphy, he uses ellipse guides, and it works. He also has like a pretty organic line, and totally gets away with it. So maybe I'm just taking the lazy way out. No, this one's just for fun. I don't know what I would make this a part of, really. Not to say that I couldn't make it a part of something, but I don't have a story or anything behind the mechs, since, you know, Pacific Rim is already out there. Pacific Rim's out there, so I ain't gotta do shit. I do. I have a really light hand when I draw, but it also depends on how I'm drawing. Well, that's not true. I pretty much just have a light hand when I draw. I don't know why. I don't know where that came from. I kind of feel like I always have. You know, I never had an issue of like my hand hurting. The only time it will hurt sometimes at the end of the day is if I'm doing a lot of digital work, because that, with the way that you know, the stylus digitally interpolates pressure sensitivity, it's a lot more of constantly pushing and unpushing, right? So flexing and unflexing your hand, and it's like constant. So at the end of the day, you know, you've been doing that for like 9 or 10 hours, so chances are your hand might hurt a bit. But if I'm drawing like, you know, traditional, I don't have issues with it. I'm like just making up random mechanical shit in the hopes that it might look like it has a purpose. And then just gotta check to make sure the stream doesn't go down again. I don't know what the hell that was about. And again, some of this will get blacked out, so you know, that will kind of add a bit more depth. But I don't think I'll get that far into it today. Thank you. It's fun to do something that's a little more involved. Let's make sure that okay, looks pretty good. Have these brick floors, so sometimes the casters on the chair get stuck between the bricks, and it can be really annoying. Yeah, I've been on a blues tear lately, mostly like deep blues, just that kind of heavier, grungy shit, and it makes me happy. mean, I'm kind of always on a blues tear, I guess, but sometimes more than others. You can see I don't always stick to the pencils that I lay down. Or the perspective, apparently. But we're gonna pretend that that's not happening. Yeah, although I'm pretty sure you're pretty damn proficient in ZBrush, man. But yeah, like my junior sketch artists, I always, I want them to kind of draw with pencil in their off time. Meaning, like, sometimes, we'll have a little bit of downtime at work, and I like them to use pencil, because that's where they really learn. We can teach the digital stuff all day, and that's easy, but if you don't have those fundamental kind of muscle memory skills and shapes and all that stuff built in, then the digital isn't going to help you. Clean off this nib. The nib is starting to make thicker lines than I want, which I don't want for the background. funny, some of the stuff we kind of think of as being a little bit of a pain in the ass, especially, you know, for any of us that have spent a lot of time in Photoshop or other, you know, art applications. But then it was all just stuff that was just part of the process back in the day, I guess. We didn't know any other way. And I kind of envy that. I think that's one of the reasons that I've always kind of pushed to keep my traditional drawing skills going as strong as I can. It's just because, like, I don't know. I think it's really interesting how they would just do these time-intensive things back then. Not even so long ago, but just in the 90s. You know, and so much shit that they just knew how to do because it was the only way to do it. And then now it's like there's probably 10 different ways to do anything if you consider just what we can do with all the digital shit. Now, granted, I would not want to do, like, the stuff that I do for work, I would not want to do that all traditionally. Like, the pencil sketches, awesome, love that. Would never want to give that up. But some of the more illustrative stuff, given how much clients, you know, like to change stuff and all of that, I wouldn't want to I wouldn't want to have to deal with that traditionally. Oh, that'd be a nightmare. But again, if that was just kind of like how things were done, we wouldn't know any other way, right? It would just be part of the process. But I wonder if, I have to imagine they still got just as frustrated as we do with changes, maybe more so, because it's not just like, okay, let's just swap out a different head. For them, it would have been like they have to paint a whole new head. You know, for us, we can just kind of find some photography, drop it in, do a quick paint over if need be, and boom, there you go, new head. The other thing that keeps me doing this, it's funny because I was never a competitive person, right? I always liked playing sports. I always loved basketball and stuff, but I did it for the fun. You know, I was never competitive, but I find I get competitive with drawing. If I see someone that's like really good at something and it's like 1 or 2 degrees away from what I do, then I'm like, whoa, I want to be good at that too. And so I'll practice and I don't know why. I don't know where that comes from. Because it's like no matter what you do, there's always someone better, right? And we all know that. But it's still that drive to, you know, I want to be the best at something. I don't know what, but damn it, I'm gonna make it happen. I don't know what I'm the best at. If anything. And at this point, it's not about like, oh, I want to be the best. I just want to be really good, you know? Like, I take pride in that. I take pride in being consistent. That's probably my main thing, is that I want to be consistent with what I do. And I kind of have to be with work. Like, I can't sit there batting 400, because if I'm only successful with 40% of my sketches, that would be a disaster. Right? So, like, I have to be consistent and really, like, hit like 90% plus consistency, and it's probably higher than that realistically, simply because it has to be. And I'm okay with that. I've only checked some. I haven't delved too deeply into who all are here. I mean, other than, people that I know, or a couple people that I follow on Instagram that I know are here. But I haven't delved too deep. I would like to, though. I know that there are some really good people. And some of the younger people that know more about this shit than I do. Meaning Twitch, not necessarily art. Not to say that no one younger than me could know more than me, because they totally could. I have this intention to do one of those shark mouth things on the big mech. I'm just not sure if I want to do that in the pen. I think I do, though. At least hint at it. Alright, we'll just keep it light. I figure a mech jock is probably similar to a fighter pilot, right? Where they'll trick out their mech a little bit. Give it some flair. Yeah, if there are any other artists that you guys recommend checking out on Twitch, let me know. I'd love to check out their stuff, and I don't know. I think it's really fun to watch, like, people who are good at what they do. I really enjoyed just even if it's not what I do at all. Like, I just think it's fun to watch people create stuff. I know not everyone is interested in like watching someone work for hours, but I totally dig that shit. I will watch, like, I'll put on a 6-hour art video. Granted, I'm not just sitting and watching. I've got a little too much stuff to do for that. But I'll just put it on and let it play, and I'll be doing stuff, and I'll watch, and I'll do stuff, and I'll watch. Well, thanks, Zombie. I mean, I know that for the most part, a lot of the Twitch users are a little younger, and, I'm 38, so I probably have a bit of experience under my belt in comparison. But, man, I gotta say, there are young artists out there who just do amazing shit, and I think it's really cool to see how much the art world has grown in that sense. When we look at artists, especially when we're talking like sci-fi fantasy type stuff, painting, that's a little different story, but are Gears art and Bjorn. Oh wow, I haven't seen Bjorn stuff in like ages. I used to follow him on back in the conceptart.org days. So yeah, it'd be cool I'll have to check him out. I don't remember the last time I saw his work. I know, it's funny, some people do really make it like you say, crazy and action-packed. I'm not necessarily trying to turn this stuff into like performance, right? So I still want to make sure I get a dope piece at the end of it. But obviously, I mean, I know that there's a place for all of it. But it did used to be great. I mean, man, after animation school, I was trying to get work, and I couldn't because I graduated into basically, like, they just had these crazy industry-wide layoffs. And so what happened was I graduated, I had no experience, and all of a sudden, for the same job that I might apply for, I was competing against people that had like 5-10 years of experience, right? So I wasn't going to get the job over them. And I had moved back home and didn't have any of my artist friends around me, and I was like stagnating, and conceptart.org like got me through that, because it was a place where I could kind of hang out with other artists, and it was back when they would do the daily sketch, the daily sketch challenge, but it was like we would all meet in a chat room and they would announce the topic, and then you had 90 minutes to sketch whatever you were going to sketch, and it was really fun. So they would meet basically every day it was noon my time, Pacific time. And yeah, they would just announce that sketch topic and off to the races. Yeah, I mean, one of the benefits of... I'm assuming Bjorn is working digitally. And can definitely get some shit done quick that way. Although, granted, like, there's no reason you couldn't do some quick traditional sketches as well. I've done plenty of that. And I'll probably do some digital streaming along the way as well, because I still enjoy doing that stuff for certain types of pieces. I thought about doing a couple of the Inktovers in Procreate, because I do have some good ink brushes on there. I thought that might be kind of fun, but at the same time I was like, I'd rather do actual ink. I always talk myself out of it for some reason. Do a little bit of line work with the brush just to get some accents in there, and then I will call it for today. Actually, let's get rid of that pencil for now. I totally cropped off the top. I was all sitting there working on the top part, and you guys couldn't even see it. There. Yeah, Zombie, I agree. I mean, obviously, I am an artist, but I just the accessibility we have, to the access that we have to process and watching people do what they do, and high level professionals doing what they do. Man, when I was younger, if I had that, that's all I'd be watching. Imagine if we could have watched Frazetta live stream. Holy shit. That would be amazing. Get rid of the pencil so I can kind of get a sense of where I might want to add some accents. That's cool. I think more people should pick up pencils, even if they're not, even if they don't consider themselves artists. Like, I just think it's a good thing to do, to just kind of like try and create something. I think there's a lot to be said for that. And it's not, it doesn't have to be about, like, making something really amazing. It's just that act of creating something is I don't know, pretty fulfilling, I think. Wow, that's a good question. I have to... I think when I was in, like, 8th grade, I was looking at a Wizard magazine, and they had an article on Adam Hughes. It was back, he was doing some, like, covers for Ghost. I think he had moved out of doing interiors and kind of moved over to doing covers. And I saw how he drew women, and it like absolutely blew my mind. It's like, what? Girls can look like that? And I just was, from then on, I was just determined to figure it out. And then a little later, discovered Frazetta and his amazing females, like, and both of them always did really strong females, which I really liked. It wasn't just like, damsels in distress or anything like that. It's like, I don't know, they were feminine, but they were just badass, and yeah, they were pretty cool. So I don't know, it was just a lot of practice, and I mean, you gotta get that figure drawing in, because that's probably the best way if you're trying to learn anatomy. Nothing's gonna beat looking at the real thing and studying it and figuring out how it moves in space, and how forms turn and all that. Any kind of physical activities you can do too. Like, I had grown up doing martial arts. It's been years now, but what that gave me was an understanding of kinetics, right? Human kinetics, of how the body moves. That was huge. Animation helped as well. Understanding movement and how to pose figures. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of picking your battles a little bit. If there's something you want to get good at, you just study it, and doesn't matter where you start, just start kind of poring over. It helps a lot to see how other artists do it, like if there are artists that, because we all kind of have maybe natural ways that we draw, right? So there are artists that I appreciate, but like I don't learn something from them necessarily, because we might draw or paint so different, but I might still love their work. Then there might be other people where I see them making similar choices to what I would do, right? Like they're doing what I would do, but they're doing it better, right? And so to like that's what that's what Frazetta was for me. It was kind of where I was naturally gravitating, but he was doing it at such a high level. Same with Adam Hughes, Ian McKeag, Claire Wendling. You know, like there's similarities within all of them, and yet each one has their own look. And so when I would find someone like that, then I would just kind of try and pick apart the choices that they were making, the anatomical choices or artistic choices, all of that, and so that I could hopefully glean something from it in a way that worked for me, right? That wasn't just doing exactly what they do, but something that I could kind of take away. So a lot of it's practice, you know. There's also like, when it comes to drawing women, honestly, I feel like it has to come from, if you really want to do a drawing well, right? If you want to do a drawing of a girl and you want to do it really well, and you don't just want to, you know, come off as like a misogynist, it has to come from a place of respect, right? And that was always kind of my approach to it, was that I just like, I think women are fucking beautiful no matter what they're doing, right? Like that's what I never understood, why people always over sexualized the poses, right? So like, even if I draw, you know, some warrior girl and she's like not wearing a damn thing, I never sexualize the pose. If I do, I almost always poke fun at myself for it, right? Because if you're walking down the street or you're in the bookstore and you see a beautiful woman, she's beautiful, she's just looking at books, like she's not doing anything sexual, right? So why do we feel the need to like have these crazy like ass out poses as though that's the only way we can make them like really hot, right? So I think that's a really important, pretty key factor. If you are going to draw women, it's got to come from a place of respect. And if you can draw something that the girls love too, like, that's awesome. It's easy to draw a hot girl that guys like whatever. Draw something with boobs and chances are guys are going to be like, oh, that's hot. But if you can kind of do something that's got broader appeal, then I think you're on the right track. And that's the nice thing, is that every now and then, I might get people on Instagram questioning me, like, why do they have to be naked and blah, and it's like, well, they don't. I just don't have time all the time to design a cool outfit. But at the end of the day, I can always rely on the fact that I think currently my following of like 118,000 people, I think 52% are men and 48% are women. And so I feel pretty confident that I'm doing something for everyone. So I think if it is kind of coming from a place of respect, it's easier to sort of get these drawings that feel better anatomically, where it's like, it's also a matter of studying posing, right? But don't, like, for that you want to basically just go out and look at people, like real people doing real things, so that when you get into doing some of that posing, it's believable, That's what I would do. I would draw at the coffee shop a lot. When we had to do the 90 pages a week in animation school in our sketchbook, I think 60 of those pages had to be from life. Right, and we didn't have a bunch of life drawing workshops. It was a small school, and so we would head out and draw actual people. And as a result, we definitely kind of learned what people do, when they're waiting in line at the coffee shop, or sitting at a table, chilling, or doing whatever. Like, you definitely kind of develop an eye for that. I hope some of that rambling made sense. Alright. I'm not going to get into spotting the blacks yet. I think I'm probably going to do more of that tomorrow. I throw in a few accents. But I am going to definitely spot some blacks in this tomorrow, so I'm not going to worry too much about the accents in the background. Yeah, I agree. And, there is a difference between sexy and sexual, right? Like, anyone can be sexy. It doesn't have to be sexual. And I think a lot of people can't find the difference for themselves, which is sad for them. But, yeah, if, I don't know, if someone catches you staring, maybe don't stare too hard. But you'd be surprised. A lot of people won't actually say anything. Although sometimes they do. I've definitely had people try and call me out on that when I'd be drawing them. Like, they were actually not upset that I was staring. They were upset that I was drawing them. It's really weird. What are you going to do? People are weird. There's no accounting for that. Alright, I think I've got to call this for today. Got to take care of some other stuff and get some work done that I cannot stream. So, Thanks for hopping on with me today. I don't know what time I'll be back on tomorrow. Girlfriend gets back into town tonight. I know her mom's in town, and so we'll see. Something's gonna be up in the air, but I'll get back on at some point tomorrow. I'll try and give you all a heads up on the time as much as I can. Hopefully it'll be more than an hour's notice. Sorry about that. Life. Alright guys. Thank you.